Hello and welcome once again to my YouTube channel. In this video, we're carrying on our story of Belize and Mesoamerica, that is Lower Mexico, Yucatan Peninsula, Guatemala and Honduras. Before I go on, I'd like to thank all my subscribers and friends for joining me here on my YouTube channel. And if you see me for the first time, you like what you hear, you like more stories of Latin America and the Caribbean, please hit the subscribe button. In this video, we're carrying on the history of Belize from 1542 and the Spanish Declaration of Invasion and Conquest. This declaration was required by all Spanish captains when stepping ashore in a new territory for conquest, irregardless of whether natives were present or not, understood or not. This amazing declaration of conquest underpins all claims made in Spanish territories around the world today. Philip II of Spain was seeking world ownership, not just world supremacy. The legality of the proceedings, as far as he and the church was concerned, lay in the papal bull in which Spanish America was divided between Spain and Portugal. The authority for the religious bull was the divine vicegerency. Under the declaration, the Spanish captains, when they landed in new territory they wanted to conquer, laid the idea that they owned everything, and that fact gave them the legal right to do what was required in their eyes, irregardless of population living there at the time who claimed ownership. Being on the frontier and with small garrisons in Belize, the Spanish had trouble controlling the local Maya population. In many cases, the Maya rebelled by simply moving away, deeper into the forest. It is probable that the Spanish on this frontier gave up in part because they could not keep captive slave population by reduction and congregated labor force. Since captive labor was a source of wealth and income, many of the early Spanish supporters must have given up in disgust when they realized wealth was not to be theirs. Fray Lorenzo de Bienvenida was a moral critic at the time from the sidelines. It was one thing for absentee Spanish crown authorities to make grants of land, villages, and towns with their resident peoples. It was another for the conquistadors to conquer these people and make them subject to you if you were given such a grant. The goal of the Maya Rebellion of 1546 was to remove the Spanish invaders completely from the area and was led by those political Maya leaders who were responsible for religious ceremonies as held in the past. In Belize, the rebellion was centered at the town of Chanlaca on Progreso Lagoon. Here the inhabitants had killed their encomendero, which was their ruler, Martin Rodriguez, also known locally as El Piloto, the pilot. The widespread rebellion and warfare went on for many years, and the Spanish considered Belize to be the Indian frontier. The Spanish were afraid that with the loss of Bacalar, they would lose the trade routes to the interior of Petan and also to the south in Guatemala. In 1567, the Spanish reorganized and launched counterattacks from Bacalar after earlier rebellions. They went through the villages slaughtering, torturing, and destroying religious Mayan imagery and icons, burning Mayan history books throughout northern Belize. These reductions, as they were called, went on for a long time, and the Maya and Spanish joined in frontier warfare. The Spanish settlers and conquerors fought to hold on to their area of land called Encomiendas, which included villages and enslaved inhabitants they thought their own. There were about 20 encomiendas in Belize and the Yucatan. When the Spanish first arrived in northern Belize, and the area in which is now southern Mexico, many towns were quite large, with a population of around 5,000 and sited very close together. But from 1531 onwards, the population declined due to reduction and the slave trade for the central Mexican mines and the eventual melting away of Maya to other central Petan locations. It was unusual in later years to find a village of more than 100 people. Total population of Bacala, northern Belize, and around Corazon had declined to about 852 persons by 1582. The 8 Spanish rulers left in Salamanca de Bacala were said to be very poor at this time because their slave labor had disappeared. The loss is blamed on warfare with the Spanish, killings, slavery for export, disease, epidemics, introduction of malaria, and fleeing of the local mayor to safer parts. Now, I'm going to end it right there, and leaving you all to think of what has just happened. Wholesale genocide of the Native Americans people in Belize and the Yucatan Peninsula. Now, if you have any questions about the history of Belize and would like to know more, please hit the subscribe button and leave a comment. And hit the bell icon as well. I will see you in the next video.